SportsCenter this morning from the NBA. ESPN NBA insider Shams Charania joining us bright and early on SportsCenter AM. Shams, Jimmy Butler going down against the Heat last night. What more can you tell us there?
Randy, sources tell me Jimmy Butler has been diagnosed with a season-ending torn ACL. His season is over. He faces a recovery timetable of really the next calendar year, and this shatters the hopes that the Warriors had this season of contending for a championship around Steph Curry. The Warriors had been playing their best basketball of the season, 4 straight wins, 12 of their last 16. And Jimmy Butler, since he arrived in Golden State, has lifted this team to having a chance in the Western Conference. They have a 676 win percentage since he joined the Warriors last February. And even this season, he's at his one of his most efficient seasons in the NBA. One of 4 players that have 20 points per game or more, an assist-to-turnover ratio of 3 or more, joining Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Jamal Murray. And so he's turning 37 this summer. He faces a lengthy recovery, so a lot of questions about his future. But for the immediate future of the Warriors, this really puts a dent in their chances to compete for a championship.
16 days shy of the trade deadline in the NBA. What does that mean for the Warriors and what they may or may not do at that trade deadline, Shams?
In some shape or form, the Warriors are back on the roller coaster that is their saga with Jonathan Kuminga. And whether they go all in again with Kuminga to see, can he play in the absence of Jimmy Butler, the focus is going to squarely be on him. He demanded a trade last week, the first day he was eligible to be traded on January 15th. My sources tell me the relationship between him and Steve Kerr is fractured beyond repair. So do you go back to Jonathan Kuminga now, given the state of the relationship, or here in the immediate future, do you try to find a deal out there on the marketplace that can help the Warriors win and compete without Jimmy Butler? That's a gaping hole for this team. So 2 teams that have interest in Jonathan Kuminga, the Dallas Mavericks and Sacramento Kings. So does a player, say DeMar DeRozan, does that fit the bill of what the Warriors could need without Jimmy Butler? But one way or the other, the Warriors are about to find out where they stand with Jonathan Kuminga this season.
Fractured beyond repair stands out to both Gary and I in studio. We're like, oh boy. Warriors have won 6 of their last 7 games. They're in the 8th spot in the Western Conference standings. Shams Charania with the very latest. Thank you, sir.
Well, you guys have won 4 straight games, and I wish this were a happier interview, though. Like, we saw Jimmy go off the floor, not able to put weight on his leg. What are you thinking when you see a teammate leave like that?
Just concerned. I feel for Jimmy. I feel like he was playing really, really good basketball, and now, we just hope that he's fine. We're all just waiting on the result.
As you guys wait for that, how will you rely on the depth of this team?
Well, we're going to have to. Different guys. We all have to step up a little more. We can't really replace everything that he does and brings for our team, but we have to find a way.
This is the 4th consecutive game where you guys have 20 or more threes. They're spread around to everyone. What are you observing right now about how the ball's not sticking and those shots are open?
Yeah, I think that's a big key for our group. The ball movement is good. Guys are ready to shoot, and everybody, I feel like it's a threat out there when we're out there. So that's a really good sign for us.
You're one of those threats as well. The 2nd consecutive game where you're in double-digit scoring. What's going well for you right now?
Just kind of trying to take advantage of opportunities and just continuing to figure things out and staying aggressive.
When you see somebody like that on the floor and obviously in a lot of pain and struggling to get off the floor, even with help from teammates.
I haven't talked to him since the game, but you never like to see a situation like that, especially somebody as tough as he is. And you're praying for the best, obviously, with scans and all that, and we'll figure it out, but hopefully he's all right.
Steph, obviously, the games keep coming, no matter how long he's out. If he misses a period of time, what is going to change the most for you guys?
No, I won't talk about him being out until we know what's going on. But the way we played down the stretch of the game tonight, BP being aggressive scorer, Buddy coming in, staying ready, knocking down shots, Moses, and then Al off the bench. Like, we're going to have to do it by committee if anybody goes down. But we'll figure out what the plan ahead is, depending on what's going on.
How would you describe the season he has had so far up until this point?
Who, Jimmy?
Jimmy.
He's all reliable. I think he makes his presence felt in pretty much every game, and I think the idea of what he does for us is he just meets whatever moment it is, whether he needs a score, whether he gets everybody organized defensively, what he does, all his playmaking. So I think since the trade deadline last year, and the way we ended last year and this season, he's done exactly what he's supposed to do.
Hey, Steph, I was curious, how did it feel to go up against Andrew tonight?
It was fun. If I'm not mistaken, I missed the last 2 games in Miami, so that was my first time playing against him, if I'm not mistaken. And you can't help but smile when you see Wiggs. He just has a presence about him. I love the celebration at the end. It seems so long ago, but you realize how much he meant to our organization over the years, and especially with that championship and him being his first time back. I'm glad he got the reception that he deserved, because he'll be a legend in Warriors history for a lot of reasons.
Steph, how proud are you of this win, despite no Draymond, no Melton, and then losing Jimmy in the second half tonight?
It's kind of a continuation of just the level that we've been playing recently, and just the clarity on how we're trying to, create good offense, and our defense, showing up. First half, they play really fast, and they challenge you to get back in transition. But once we felt the speed, we kind of settled in and got back to, sound defensive execution. Took care of the ball. Like, all the things that we know going into a game are going to help us win. We did that tonight, and it's a good sign no matter who's out there that, guys stepped up. BP, Buddy, and Al especially, were difference makers tonight.
Hey, Steph, back here. With the win tonight, this is the longest win streak of you guys of the season. With Jimmy going down, how do you plan to keep the momentum and keep the streak going?
Like I said, we won't talk much about Jimmy until we know what's going on. But again, it's about how we finish the game tonight. Play with energy, have each other's backs. No matter who's out there, take care of the basketball, play aggressive, play with confidence. Very simple ideas, but you just have to go out and do it. And I'm glad, like when Jimmy got hurt, how we finished that, next 16 minutes or whatever it was pretty impressive.
Step back here. All-Star game coming up. You were voted as the starting guard. At your age, for you to be voted, I think you're the oldest person to be voted to the position. What does that mean to you at this stage of your career?
I love the fact that pretty much every acknowledgement you get at this point is you're the oldest to do something. So don't ever take that for granted. I appreciate everybody who voted, my teammates who continue to set the table for me to do what I do and keep pushing the envelope on what's possible at this stage of my career. So I'm very grateful, and I'm gonna enjoy the weekend, but just the idea that I can get back to that level year after year, and the work that goes into it, I love it, and I hopefully I have a couple more in the future, but this is pretty special for sure.
Steph over here, can you describe, you were on the court at the time, you described the play when Jimmy got hurt, and as you mentioned, he's such a sort of tough, durable guy. What was your sort of immediate reaction to the sight of him being down like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's something you hadn't seen before, and usually you expect him to get up and even if he can't finish the game, just kind of get off the sideline. But just told him to take his time, figure out what he needed in that moment. And it's kind of funny. He was still cracking jokes over there while he was on the ground in true Jimmy fashion. Always going to have a good time no matter what the situation is. I do love that perspective and that that part of his personality. Even the worst of a moment, he was still, having a good time. He was trying to get to the free throw line. He said it was 2 shots.
I don't know what the plan was going in for the back-to-back step, but you not having to go back in the fourth, late in the fourth, does that make it much more likely that you would play tomorrow, or do you not know?
I don't know yet. I'm about to go have that conversation right now. Sorry for the short answer. I really don't know. Yeah.
Steph, I know you said you liked Brandon's aggressiveness. Do you know what was going on between him and the Miami bench in the fourth quarter specifically?
I don't, but anytime BP's going out talking, whatever gets that BP out, I love it. So I'll let them have their moment, whatever's going on, But he got the best of it tonight.
Steph, going back to the winning streak, have you noticed any difference in the locker room from the beginning to the season to this beginning of the second half of the season?
Actually, not at all. We have the same vibe. The same energy in there. Nobody likes losing, so there are moments of the season when you lose 2, 3 in a row. Like, it's not as chipper as it usually is, but we do have a good chemistry and a good bond in there and a good environment where that's the only way you can kind of bounce back and put together a run like this if you're together. So we got to keep capitalizing off of that. Knowing I think everybody in the room likes each other. That we like playing with each other, and hopefully that leads to more success.
This one hurts. There's no other way to say it. Just when it finally felt like the Golden State Warriors had stabilized, just when the basketball started to look sharp again, just when the wins came with purpose instead of hope, everything stops. The news that Jimmy Butler suffered a season-ending ACL injury doesn't just remove a player from the rotation, it punches a hole straight through the plan. Because let's be honest with ourselves as Warriors fans, this wasn't just another veteran. This wasn't just a short-term experiment. From the moment Butler arrived, the tone changed, the defense tightened, the late-game composure returned. The Warriors stopped looking fragile. They started looking serious. And most importantly, Stephen Curry finally didn't have to carry everything by himself. That's what makes this so brutal. Golden State wasn't limping. They weren't desperate. They were rolling. The ball was moving. The effort was consistent. The record since Butler joined told a clear story. This team had found something real. And now, overnight, that reality is gone. But here's where the reaction has to go deeper than emotion. Yes, the injury is devastating. Yes, it kills the cleanest path to a championship run this season. But it does not kill the organization's direction. It does not erase the progress made. And it absolutely does not mean the Warriors should fold. What this moment really does is force clarity. Without Butler, the Warriors are no longer operating with luxury. Every decision matters now. Every possession matters now. Steve Kerr doesn't get to ease players in. The front office doesn't get to wait and see. This becomes a moment where identity is tested. And that brings us directly to Jonathan Kuminga. There's no dancing around it anymore. The relationship issues, the trade rumors, the frustration, all of that collides right here. With Butler out, Kuminga becomes either an answer or the final confirmation that a split is inevitable. There is no middle ground. The Warriors will find out very quickly whether he can be a pillar in pressure moments or if this chapter needs to end immediately. But zoom out for a second. This franchise has earned trust. The Warriors have been counted out before. They've been told windows were closed before. They've been buried by injuries, age narratives, and Western Conference chaos. And yet, time and time again, they found ways to compete longer than anyone thought possible. This injury does not undo Stephen Curry's gravity. It does not erase Draymond Green's defensive IQ. It does not remove the culture that still separates Golden State from most of the league. What it does is remove the margin for error. And sometimes, that's when you truly see what a team is made of. The trade deadline is now unavoidable. The Warriors cannot pretend otherwise. They will explore options. They will listen. They may pivot, but they will not panic. This front office understands that short-term reactions destroy long-term relevance. And here's the key part fans can't ignore. Even in this loss, there is opportunity. Opportunity to redefine roles. Opportunity to see who steps up. Opportunity to build something that doesn't rely on a single safety net. Jimmy Butler's injury is heartbreaking. No fan should downplay that. But it also crystallizes the truth of this season. The Warriors are still fighting, just without a safety cushion. Now, the question belongs to you, Dub Nation. Do you still believe this team can adapt? Should the Warriors make an aggressive move at the deadline or ride this out and protect the future? And what should happen next with Kuminga? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you felt this moment the same way I did, hit like, subscribe to Warriors Nation News, and stay locked in because this story is far from over.